Hi, Team Beautifully Polished. Sorry, I'm a minute late. I just went live in the wrong Beautifully Polished group. I went live in the business opportunity. Um, I am super excited today. I'm hoping some of you are on your lunch break and you can hop in now, or perhaps some of you guys are going to be watching the replay of this. I really love the topic that I want to talk to you guys about today, and that is adding value. This is a great topic for, of course, both your Color Street business and how you choose to live your life. You know, a lot of the topics that we train on really carry over from Color Street to how you're going to live your life. So I want to talk about living intentionally, meaning making those decisions by adding value to other people. So my first question to you right now is, how do you measure success? You know, most people in business, or many people in business, measure success by how much money you've made, where you work, where you live, and what you've achieved, right? Success is seen by having jobs that are really competitive. Take, for example, Wall Street. We all have these connotations with Wall Street, right? That you think of someone who works at Wall Street, they're trying to make money, they're trying to maximize their profits, they're trying to crush their competition. That's what I call a zero-sum game. I win, you lose. I'm a successful CEO, you're not. This is how I think a lot of people measure success. Hi, guys. So in my opinion, that's not what I consider success. Truly successful people to me are not the ones that have the zero-sum mentality that I win, you lose, I'm number one, you're not. They have a different perspective. They have the perspective, truly successful people, I feel, have a perspective of adding value first. Hi, Carrie. Hi, guys. All right, I'm going to focus on this so I don't get sidetracked with highs. Okay. In other words, you're adding more value before you take out. So you're adding more value to your community before you're taking out. You give more to your customers than the cost of the product. You give more to your customers, your team, your family, your friends, without asking for things back. You meet someone on the street and you think, how can I add value to that person's life today? Successful people aren't trying to be number one so that other people are number two. They're not trying to beat other people. They're just trying to think about, whether it's me or my team or the journey I'm on, how can I add value to other people? So John Maxwell, I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of him. He's written a lot of leadership books. He has a quote, a life of significance cannot be achieved if you think of other people as obstacles that must be overcome. It means valuing everyone, not just those close to us. So how often do we look past others without really getting to know them or appreciating them as individuals? Every person has value, and we need to intentionally value and express that value to them. All right, so how can you add value to people? What does that mean? So I'm going to kind of talk about some different ways of what you can do. And again, some will be kind of geared towards your Color Street business, but some is just a life choice that we make that ultimately is going to help make you a better person, which makes you be a better business person, right? It's all rolled up into one ball, really. So first, I want you to picture being an operator. I mean, we're talking, some of you are probably even too young for this, like an operator that used to work the phones. So they're sitting there and you would make a phone call and they would take that little operating wire and they connect it to the person you're calling, right? So you think of what, they take that wire and they connect the two people so they could talk. How can you be an operator to add value to other people? It's making connections and building relationships. So by connecting different groups of people. So let's say you're at a vendor event, you're chatting it up with the person at the booth next to you, find out that that child has a chronic illness. Well, someone you know has that same chronic illness. So you connect those two people that may not have otherwise ever met. Maybe you connect to a friend tells you they're trying to move. Maybe you connect that person with a real estate agent that you know. Within Color Street, let's say one of your stylists is really struggling and they live out of state. Let's say you find someone to connect them with in another state, and maybe they're not even on our team, but you go out there and you figure out how they could meet to connect. So you're putting them with somebody else to build that camaraderie, to give them something in common. You're adding value to that person by listening to them, showing them that you care enough to connect them with another person or group. Life is all about networking and connecting. So you can add value to people by showing them that you're important enough to connect them with another subset of people you know. This morning I was on my way into yoga and I saw a guy that I see in there often. I asked him if he was going to yoga. He was going to run. And I said, oh my gosh, have you tried the new Tuesday morning yoga teacher? She's so hard. And he said, oh, I usually don't do Tuesdays, but maybe now I'm going to come. So just by that simple statement, talking to him, making a connection, I could have added, we'll see, have added value to his workout. Now, if he tries this new teacher and this new teacher is exactly what he's looking for. So in that one sentence, we just kind of exchanged a couple things and I potentially added value to him. Another way you can add value through connecting is not just connecting people, but connecting information. So let's say you just read a great book on personal development, or you discovered an app on like scheduling, right? Like SynthShare or something. Let's say you're the first person to discover it, and you know now how to set all of your Facebook parties up by pre-scheduling everything, and you're so excited. So with the information from that, there's two schools of thought. You could keep this information to yourself, so you can spend less time posting, so therefore you have more time for parties, you're gonna have higher sales, and maybe you are gonna be number one now. Or you could take that information, you could share it with your friends and your team in order to help everyone move forward and simplify their jobs, free up some of their time, because now they can start scheduling things, and it makes everyone's life easier. And think about how many lives you would change just by sharing that information with others. So when you connect people, make connections to people by giving them new people or new information, just think you may inspire them to take an action on something that they may have not done otherwise. Maybe someone is not doing Facebook parties because they just don't know how they're going to fit it in, and they don't know how they're going to find the time to be able to do all that posting every single day. So by sharing that information of the app that you found, now they're going to do something on something they may not have otherwise done. It also, by connecting people or giving them new information, you could change your perspective on something. Different people have all sorts of ideas, and by connecting people, you can give them a different perspective or show them a better, easier way to get something done. So there's a lot of things that benefit from just adding that simple connecting people and connecting people to other information. So something else I want you to think of in adding value to someone is something that all of us have, and that's time. We all have time. We all have 24 hours in a day. It's just a matter of what you do with your time, right? So can you offer someone your time? Time to help them with their business, time to help a customer put on nails, to plan a party. I was doing some follow-up calls just before this for my event over the weekend, and one of the ladies I called wanted to chat. And you know what? I gave her the time. I knew I had a whole stack of calls I needed to make, but I sat down and I listened to her for 5 minutes and we chatted about things. Actually, the next one I called too, I said, how are you? She gave me the natural, I'm fine. And then she said, actually, I'm not. My mother-in-law's in hospice. My mom is this was funny, she's in assisted living and she's being a stinker. So you know what? I could have just brushed right over that, but instead I took a few minutes, I listened to her and I said, well, I guess that standard answer of I'm feeling fine was not really what your answer was today. So, just take time to listen to somebody. Those two people needed somebody to just chat today, and I gave that to them. That's adding value to them, because what they just told me, I responded back, and by my recognizing that, it makes them know that I'm appreciating them and giving value for what they have to say. So take time to listen and give someone your full attention. I know it's so hard. I do it to my kids all the time. They talk to me and I'm thinking of the next thing I got to get done. Set your stuff down and pay attention. You are showing them that you value what they have to say. You value them enough to stop what you're doing and to listen. So we all have time. I know we're all busy. I know that. But just those few minutes every day, just think of what you can do to somebody by taking the time out to show them that you value them. Other pretty easy ways: helping somebody, lending a hand to them, being a shoulder that they could cry on if they're upset, and just being there for somebody. All those things are ways that you guys can add value to someone's life and make them feel very important. So if you think about the concept of adding value, it kind of goes against the grain of what am I going to get out of it? What am I going to get out of this transaction right now? Well, if I connect these two people, what is it going to do for me? If I connect this person I met at a vending event with somebody else because of something not Color Street related, what good does that do for my Color Street business? Well, it's not doing anything for your Color Street business right then and there, is it? Or is it? I mean, you're making connections, you're building relationships, so ultimately it is doing something for your business. It's building your character and who you are, and ultimately that all comes back to your business. So if you can just think past what things do for you right now and think about what things do for you in the future by adding value to other people and benefiting them now, how can that add to your future? People who can see the big picture in life, they see how adding value changes people over time. It's going to change the person you're adding value to, and it's going to change yourself. Because every time you help somebody else, what does it do for you? It helps how you feel about yourself, and it brings value to you and what you feel about who you are. It really is no different than the idea of putting other people first, right? You think of how you can help another person for just the sake of helping them. No other reason, no ulterior motive behind it. So you're not, by adding value to others, you naturally add value to yourself. So people with high self-value for other people automatically, are building their own self-value. Self-esteem is kind of a hierarchy, but self-value is about equality. We value others. The more you value others, the more you value yourself. If you evaluate your own well-being and your own health and how you feel about yourself and your growth and development, don't you think you're going to feel better about yourself when you're giving to other people and adding value to their lives? So ultimately, it does come back, and all of it does help you. But by talking to someone in that moment, does it feel like it's doing anything for you? Not necessarily, but it's making you feel good about yourself and love yourself, which of course makes everything about your life better. My kids have always teased me because every time I'm in stores, I talk to people. I bring up conversation. In my opinion, I had a dad who lived alone for a long time, and I know going to Walmart and talking, he was the guy that would make conversation with people. I used to tell him he should be a Walmart greeter, but he wouldn't do it. Why not make somebody feel real good just by saying hi? You don't know if you are the one and only person that talked to that person today. If they live alone, oh gosh, I might get weepy. Sorry, I don't usually do that. My dad lived alone. Oh, geez, I wasn't prepared for that. Sorry. And I know going out was a big thing for him. And so just talking to somebody, he was the lonely guy that would sit at a restaurant and talk to the waitresses. And so those waitresses who talked back to him valued who he was. Gosh, I'm sorry. Who he was. Who he was, and made him feel good about himself. Sorry, sheesh. I was not expecting that today. All right, let me try to finish up here. I got a few tears, hang on. So every time you meet someone, I want you guys to start to think, how can I help this person? What do they like? What don't they like? If you're meeting someone in that quick second, you may not know that. But just with people you might be able to figure that out more, of course. Learn about these people. What keeps you busy? Ask them that. That's a great opening question to ask somebody. You're talking, so what keeps you busy? Well, there you go. That's going to unlock a whole bunch of information. If you ask somebody what keeps them busy, then that's easy sentence starter to start talking about them. Well, so then in your mind, how could you help that person? What could you do to inspire them that day, or just talk to them about something that day? And if you offer some type of follow-up, be genuine. If you offer follow up with what you're going to do. If it's someone on your team or in Color Street and you say, oh my gosh, let's say they're having a down day, and you say, oh, I'm going to connect you with so-and-so. They could really talk to you about hostess coaching. Then do it. You connect them with somebody. Okay? Make sure what you say you really mean. I've always been a strict believer in that as far as like anything, my parenting with my kids. If I told them something, I made sure it was something I knew I would follow through on. I was never the person just volunteer to do 100 things unless I knew in my head I could get it done, because I don't like to offer things that I know I can't follow through on. So if you're going to offer something, be genuine about it. And again, it may not be something that's going to come back to you right now, but the whole belief in karma, right? You pay it forward mentality. None of this is new. By adding value to others and doing things for them, all that stuff comes back to us, and it comes back to us tenfold. So practice it as much as you can. You know, we've talked about networking and talking with people. So start making a conscious effort. When you meet people, start thinking about this mentality of connecting them with something, or giving them information, or just listening to them. What can you do? Start thinking about that each day in the morning. Okay, how am I going to add value to someone's life today? So at the end of the day, I challenge you to rethink your ideas of success. If you've been measuring success by being number one, by beating out, you know, someone else in Color Street, by being number one, by, you know, if that's been how you've measured your success, I want to challenge you to switch that and start measuring it by how you are adding value to others. How are you adding values to strangers out there? How are you adding value to your customers? How are you adding value to your downline, your upline, other stylists? What can you do to make them feel more successful or bring information to them? So put into your ecosystem more than you take out, and that's how you should measure success. So at the end of the day, you ask yourself, did I add value to anyone today? And if it's no, I want you to start thinking more intentionally. You can do it. You can change what you do, but you've got to think intentionally about it and make that effort. In a conversation, think intentionally about what you could offer to that person to add value to them. And if the answer is yes, that at the end of the day, when you say, did I add value to somebody today? Then my gosh, you're building your success story right there, because all of that's going to come back to you tenfold. So that is my training for today. My challenge for you guys is to get out there and add that value to somebody and see what it starts doing to your life as you are connecting with more people and helping them build who they are, because ultimately it will come back and build you as well and make you feel so good. So I hope everybody has a great day. Sorry about my tears. Thanks for sitting through them. And I hope you guys enjoy your, have a great Easter and a great Wednesday. See you later.